All right, guys. So I got a little announcement to make. It has been, let's see here. I think it was October that I launched my book. And in the next few months, I am releasing the second edition to that book. Second edition. Sometimes you read the book, you see things. I'm all about the progress over perfection and all that stuff, but you see things and you learn things, and I want it to be my absolute best. And I want to put it out there. And I do believe that it can be life changing for people who have a revelation that they just want to be in control of their money. They want to experience purpose. They want to unlock their potential, be where their feet are. Brock says a lot of times that sometimes we give our best to whatever we're doing, and then our rest goes to our family. And that's it. And sometimes I just believe that that's what society programmed us to be like. They took I think that purposely creativity was sort of stripped away from us, or environments that we could use creativity, and they wanted to program us. And it's time that we understand that it's not all about just going to school, making good grades, and going to get the job and this, that, and other. It's about being who you were created to be. That's when true fulfillment happens. So I'm excited about that. And I just want to kind of talk to you. I see a lot of new faces, um, see a lot of familiar faces, but I'm just going to kind of give you high level of what I'm all about and what you'll find in the book. And, you know, just why I get yayed up, why I get yayed up all the time. So, literally, the name of the book is The Mindset and Money Revolution. And it's all about shifting the way people think about money, purpose, and wealth. Because we've been taught that, again, let's go and we're looking for financial freedom. But what that really is we end up being on a hamster wheel, chasing a carrot, which is money, and we will never admit it because we have blinders. And I'm telling you, this is from my experience, okay? It might not be you. But the blinders that stayed right here on me was I was doing this for the benefit of my family. I wanted the best for my family. And understand, my intentions were there. My focus was there. But the means to get there, I thought was money. And so that kept me on that hamster wheel. And I ended up giving the best to the hamster wheel. But my intentions was give the best to my family. Put in other terms, I was more focused, we're not materialistic, but I was more focused on what I was putting on them than what I was putting in them. Because you've heard me say this 100 times, I know. I would be throwing the ball with the kids and thinking about the deal closing tomorrow and living 2 years out, 5 years out. If this deal comes through, if that deal comes through, and I wasn't present, I was not right where my feet are. And that's a big thing. That's big. I call that opportunity cost, especially for people that don't catch that soon enough. I'm grateful and thankful that I did catch that, and the Lord kind of woke me up, and I had a divine disruption, and I made a difference. I said, I'm not doing that anymore. People are drowning in debt. They're living paycheck to paycheck, stress, burnout, and the financial industry's advice is Just invest early and hope that the market goes up. Chasing rates of returns and beating the market. That's what the financial industry focuses on. And money is movement. It's currency. Currency means movement. And if you don't raise your hand and say, hey, what are all my options? And I want a financial model to where the money moves back towards me instead of away from me. And we're going to stay on that hamster wheel. But why don't we learn these things in school? Financial literacy. Because the financial industry wants it to look so complex that nobody can figure it out. Only the giants can figure it out. I got something I got to tell you about this. So there's a guy that I was working with one time. He was pretty much a turnaround coach, turnaround specialist. And he had coached mental toughness, and there's a recorded sales increase of billions of dollars and double-digit market share that he was able to help these Fortune 500 companies. I'm talking Johnson & Johnson, Caterpillar, a lot of them. They got testimonies to prove it, and they're like, hey, this is crazy. And it all started from down deep. See, if you think about training, most people just train on knowledge and skill, right? Knowledge and skill. They don't really train on attitude. But yet most people, when they're polled, they would think, or they said that attitude was one of the most important things to being productive and a good worker and all that. I'm just kind of giving you the outline on that, but he actually said that he was he met with the second man in charge at probably one of the top banks in the country. And he came in there for a discovery call and said pretty much, hey, what are you struggling with? How can I help? And believe it or not, he kept it anonymous. He didn't let us know who it was. That second man in charge saying we're having to disclose too much information to consumers. They know too much. And so that was killing their profits. And he said, okay, no, thank you. I'm sorry. I don't think this is a fit. So guys, you have to raise your hand, be an advocate for yourself, and just say, do I know all of my options? So I wrote this book, realizing that, again, the real cost is not your mortgage like you think it would be. If you've polled, what's your biggest cost that you've ever done, and we usually have a pie chart too that shows where all our money goes. The Bureau of Labor Statistics says 40% of our money goes to taxes over our lifetime. When we earn our first dollar till we spend our last dime, 40% goes to taxes. And that's not just income tax and property taxes. That's taxes on this water, or even, a pack of chewing gum, right? But the real cost is what you don't know. That's the real cost. The real cost is what you don't know. And that money and that knowledge is costing you freedom, peace, and wealth doesn't start in your wallet, it starts in your mind. It starts in your mind. It starts with your beliefs. We said that affirmation, and I truly believe now what I just said. But 5 years ago, being an entrepreneur from my early 20s up to 5 years ago, I don't think that I would be able to say that with confidence. I could say it because it's on the back of my t-shirt, you know what I mean? Or on a coffee mug. And oh yeah, I'm created on purpose for a purpose. High five. Boom. So are you. But I didn't believe that. So it starts with your beliefs. And guess what? You can control that. So on a scale from 0 to 5, on how much do you believe that you're created on purpose for a purpose? If it's a 3, you're the only one that can turn that bad boy up to a 5. If it's a 5, sometimes we let our own get in our own head and we're the only ones that can turn it down. But that's where it starts. So that's the very foundation. But you can't just have the belief. If you want to change in a revolution, you must have the desire. Because a lot of people, they believe that they got problems and they just say, hey, I hope it all works out. Right? It'll all shake out. And they stay on that sideline that I talk about over and over and over again, hoping that, some leftovers shake out in their favor. But we're called to get in the game. We're not called to fit in. We're called to stand out. So it's all about the whole wealth priority pyramid that I built was number 1, pursue your purpose. That literally is surrendering to God and saying, I want to be who you created me to be. That's the very first step. And I believe in my heart, when you do that, that's when he will unlock the potential inside of you, which is a gift that you may or may not even realize that you have. Because that gift is not learned, earned, or even deserved. It's different than a talent. I never thought that I would be, I never thought that I'd be on here getting yayed up every Tuesday morning and telling people just how good life is and how you can experience abundantly and all of that. And I don't know if it's a gift or not, but I sure enjoy it, man. I enjoy it. That gives me abundance. That's what I love doing, is just pouring into people and loving on people. And once that potential has been unlocked and unleashed, you start becoming in alignment with your assignment, and you really start being present right where your feet are. You start enjoying the moment, being thankful for the moment, being grateful for every breath you take. Relationships. I don't want to put Cullen on the spot, but I'm going to, because I love him like a brother. I promise you that he ate it up with his living with his dad, like with a spoon. I mean, he absorbed that. He took that in. I'm sure there was times that he got aggravated. We all do. But I promise you, he has no regrets for making that decision. And he wouldn't give anything for that time. Time is something that we can't get back. That is a limited resource. I believe money is an unlimited resource. You can get out there and go get it. When you're present and you really are living out who you were created to be, I believe you start attracting instead of chasing. You're your authentic self. People want to deal with authentic people. That whole fake it till you make it thing, man, that's hogwash. I used to say that though, just because I thought it was, hey, baby, I'm just faking it till I make it. You know what I mean? Just trying to be like you, just trying to catch up to you. It was more like a saying. But a lot of times people say it so much, they start living that out. Fake it till you make it. And I think that's a trap. I think that's where you are accumulating a lot of masses of wealth, but you can be so empty inside because you're not your authentic self. Why do you think okay, I said I have nothing against saying you guys, right? But I'm not on here to be prim and proper and y'all give me a grade at the end of my talk. Well, you could have done this better and you could have done that better. Look, I do want to be better, but I'm going to be me too. So my Southern slang and all that stuff, it is what it is. That's who I am, right? D, I see you smiling, right? And you start experiencing that profit both internally and externally. And lastly, let me tell you what's at the very top of that pyramid: peace. See, a lot of people just want to jump straight to the top. I think we all want different things in life. We all have our different views. We all have our different ideas about things, and that is completely fine. But if I had to ask most people, they probably would get on board with, you know what, at the end of the day, I just want to lay my head down at night and have peace in my life. And that's peace about the road that you're on. Maybe not the destination. Purpose is not really a destination, it's the journey. And I've said this before. Kevin will tell you, purpose is paved with potholes. But you know what? There's a peace that comes with knowing that you're on the right road. There's a peace knowing when things fall apart in front of you, you start asking yourself, okay, what can I learn from this? Why am I having to go through this? Not victim mode, not victim mode. What can I learn from this? And why is this? How's this going to make me better? In the past, when I hit them potholes, I'd lay off the side of the road a little bit in the ditch and I'd wallow around a little bit. Good gracious, this is terrible. I don't what's happening. I try all the time. I try. Right? I feel like I'm doing the right thing. I think I got the right plan and blah, 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 blah. But I was basing it on knowledge and skill, knowledge and skill, knowledge and skill, and not from my spirit. That spirit gives you the confidence. That's purpose. Then it feeds your heart. That gives you the desire. That gives you the want to. That gives you the can't stop, won't stop. And then you want to learn. You want all the knowledge that you can get because, man, you're in alignment. Let's go, baby. I'm ready to go to the top of the mountain and shout my story and do my mission and help as many people as I can. Because you know what? It's not about me. I am second. If it's my family, they are first, but I'm going to be the best second that I can be. If it's my team, I'm second. It's all about them, but I'm going to be the best second that I can be. God is who's number one, and I'm second. So I want to be the best second that He created me to be. And He created me to be an original. And by cracking, I tell you what, by cracking, you like that? By cracking, I spent my entire life as a replica, trying to be like my dad. And there's nothing wrong with that, using that as direction. You know what I mean? Like a somewhat of a compass. But I'm not called to be a replica. I have my own journey. God created me to be my own person. So I got to tell you this story. A lot of you've heard it. I know Christian, he's got a comment he's going to throw in there. He always does. But look here, I did a kickboxing tournament years ago. I practiced MMA, mixed martial arts. Yes, I didn't do it. I just wanted to stay in shape, right? I just wanted to stay in shape, and I didn't want to get in the octagon. I didn't want to do any of that. It was more about camaraderie with the dudes that I did it with, older. You know, we learned stand up, we learned the ground, blah, 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 blah. But I immediately got promoted very quickly to the Fight Club. Oh, yeah, the Fight Club. The Fight Club is made up of all black belts, a few brown belts, and here I am, a gold belt. If you don't know the system, that's the second belt up. You got a white belt and then a gold belt. So at first I'm like, yeah, they see me. They see me, right? And then I got to thinking, oh, they might just need somebody to beat up on, right? So I said, yes, I'm in. And I immediately started on Monday nights, the Fight Club. And these dudes were tough. They were 10-year veterans and older. Here I am about 6 months in. But when you become a part of the Fight Club, eventually you got to go compete. I'm too old to be doing that. I didn't see that. They didn't tell me about that, but I'm not going to say I quit the Fight Club. That's not good. So off to Knoxville, Tennessee we go. My first kickboxing tournament. A little nervous, yeah. But I had the confidence. Now listen to what I tell you here. I had the confidence. I had the mindset. I had the willpower. I feel like I had the skills. And then they put me with somebody that's been doing this for 30 years, got their own karate school. He's super region this and southeastern region that and grand champion this and boom, 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 and all of this stuff. And here I am just almost 3 years in, and I'm just a student, right? And I see out of the peripheral vision over here, all my guys, see, they've been in this for a while. So they knew this guy and they're whispering and I hear them. Hey, and my cousin, I think he might be more country than I am. He come over to me and he's a bad dude, man. My cousin was a bad dude, or he is a bad dude. He said, hey, Bo, you gonna be all right? You gonna be all right? I'm saying, y'all, you gonna be all right. If y'all didn't catch that. You're gonna be all right. You're gonna be all right. Go in there, do your thing. Do your thing, just fight your fight, man. You fight us and you do a good job. You just go in there, do your thing. All right, you're gonna be all right. So I said, okay, that's what I'm gonna do. So I went in there and the first round happened and I stayed tight with him. And man, I'm like, winning. I'm winning. Hashtag winning. I'm getting her done. And then I go to my corner and I can't breathe. And my sensei says, hey, go do the same thing in second round. You're going to win this fight. You're going to win it. I'm like, okay. So I'm going to do. So I go in and it's the second round and I go do the same thing. I stay inside of him and I muscle him around and I'm throwing blows and kicking and all kind of stuff. And I'm winning. And this time though, something happened. We got pushed out of bounds on the mat. We're on a mat. We're not in the octagon. We're not in the ring, but we got pushed out on the mat. Now, I don't know how many of y'all watch Karate Kid or Cobra Kai or anything like that, but every time I saw Daniel-san, Daniel-san's the main character of the Karate Kid, get pushed out of bounds, we always come back to the center and the referee will reset us. You tag up and you start again. Well, I go beatboxing back in there and about halfway to the center, the lights went out in Tennessee. My jaw exploded. I didn't know who I was, where I was, what my name was. And I'm like, which one of y'all kicked me? Like Chris Tucker did in one of them movies. I literally got knocked out on my feet. Knocked out. You can put adjectives in there if y'all want to make it funny. Knocked up. He didn't knock me down, though. That's the only thing I can say. And I didn't say I quit. But thank goodness my sensei quit, said he's had enough. Here's the deal. I had the willpower. I had the confidence. I had the skills. You know what I didn't have? I didn't have the knowledge of the rules of that tournament. No, did I get back up? He didn't knock me down, Robin. See, you missed that. That's an important point. He didn't knock me down. He didn't knock me down. They had to walk me off. But he didn't knock me down. But here's the deal. I didn't have the knowledge. And I didn't understand the rules. And that's what I'm saying. If you don't know, if you don't raise your hand, if you don't say, I want to know all my options, if sometimes we get stuck inside the frame and we can't see our own picture, we need somebody that can help us. You can continue to go down the hamster wheel and keep getting fed what the financial industry tells you. Christian will tell you too, he's in this business. It's a system. We're the assets on the hamster wheel. See, the wealthy put their assets on the hamster wheel. The hamster wheel has to turn. But we're the ones on the hamster wheel. We're the assets for the financial industry. And that way we never, ever, ever get complete control and clarity and have confidence in our finances. But let me tell you something, you can do that and you can have that. And when you have that and you put money in its place, it's not your source. God is your source. Money is a resource. It's provision for your vision, right, Michelle? That's when things change. All right, I have landed this plane, 8:45. I got yayed up. I got to figure out what I did this morning, man. That was fun. That was good. That's all I got, guys. Anything for me? Anybody?
I've got something I want to say.
Say it, Christian. Say it. Bye. Why didn't you put your guard up? Why didn't you turn your back on him? Go ahead, say it, Christian.
So I had a kind of a thought while you were speaking, and I've heard your message a number of times, and one of the things that I always tell people is we're so lucky to be living in the time era that we're living in, because your message about finding your purpose and living for your purpose, like 50 years ago, 60, 70 years ago, for most people, that wouldn't be actually achievable. But because of the era we live in now, the ability to connect with people, and there's people all over the place that have the same interests that you have, that have the same interests that, these could be weird little quirky interests you have, but there's the ability to actually find your purpose and monetize that purpose now and make a good living and take care of your family with that purpose because of the era we live in. So that was just kind of a light bulb that went off in my head. So great talk today.
100%. And that's the best profit, is when you profit from purpose. Yes, ma'am. Robin, what you got?
That was so awesome. It was so contagious, the yayed up, that I had to screenshot and put one of your quotes, and I literally posted it on my feed today. And you said, purpose is not a destination, it's the journey. And I was like, I've always heard life is a journey and you're created on purpose for a person. And when you put that together, the purpose and the journey, it just hit me. It hit me hard because I sometimes I lose focus on who that Jehovah Jireh, and I'm thinking it's I just lose focus on that attitude towards my finances. So that really helped me today. Was that the first time you ever said that purpose is not a destination?
I usually say purpose is not the destination, it's actually a direction.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
and it's daily, it's a daily walk, it's a daily thing. It really is. Yep.
It really is. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Chad,
Paul.
mama gonna knock you out, baby.
Yeah, I got knocked out, but I got knocked out.
I just had a curious question, maybe off track, but after that, how long did you stick with the Fight Club, and how did your fighting career end? Or is
Oh,
it
well,
end?
I didn't quit.
Of
But
course.
first of all, my top molars and my lower molars, that's not what you asked. Were I got to put that in there though. You need to understand that they were numb for 10 days. Yes. But here's the deal. I got kicked out of the dojo. So
What?
several black belts would get kicked out and they would always crawl back. Our sensei was a huge giant in the martial arts. But I told him that funny story. I told him that I wanted to coach my kids baseball and football. This is when they first started playing sports. And he said, I am cool with that. Absolutely. You always got a place here. Boom, 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 boom. And so I guess that was different because he sent a messenger to me and said that I'm not welcome back because I was a black belt, but he wanted me at the school teaching and instructing pretty much 4 nights a week. And so I put that in my first book. So if I would have stayed for instant gratification for a black belt, what would be the opportunity cost? I would have possibly missed the first touchdown, possibly missed a home run, and I wasn't going to do it. And this guy didn't crawl back. It is what it is. And he changed his word, and I called him out on it. I don't care who you are, you know? And he hung up on me. I said, I thought you said that. He said, well, changing my word is my prerogative. Don't bring it back up. I'm just telling you that you're invited to come back if you'd like. And no, thank you. So since then, pretty much that whole Fight Club has, they're gone. And these were so I guess I don't know. I led with that. You know what I mean? I led out the door. I'm all about respecting everything. But if I tell you or ask you if you have a problem with this and you look at me in the eye and say, no, you're good. That's word. You could have put me back at a white belt and allowed me to train. That black belt wasn't that important to me, but it is what it is. I get yayed up on that. We'll talk about that next Tuesday if you want me to. All right, guys. I know we're over big time, man. Okay, I'm so sorry. Y'all have a great day. Love you, mean it. Take care. And yes, speed of the leader, speed of the troops. Come on, that's good. We'll see y'all in the morning, 8:15 right here. We got a good guest speaker, and we'll find out who it is tomorrow. See you. Bye.